When the allure of young love clouded my judgment, I thought I was finding happiness. But instead, I opened a door to betrayal and heartbreak, realizing too late that not every promise of love is pure, and not every hand held tight is meant to stay. Before starting the story, please subscribe my channel for more realistic stories. Where there is a desire for wealth, there is often a risk of pain, sometimes even from those we hold closest. This was true for my father. My mother, Emily, was beautiful, though she came from a modest background. My father, Mark, valued love over wealth and married her. They had a happy and fulfilling life together, deeply in love. But as I grew up, I brought unintentional pain to my mother, affecting her happiness. It was my own youthful innocence that led me astray. Otherwise, I would not have ended up in such distress and heartbreak. One day, new neighbors moved into the house across the street, a quaint bungalow that had been empty for a while. We met a few times, exchanging friendly hellos, and as we became more familiar, I began to visit their home. Rachel, Aaron's mother, treated me warmly, and I felt welcome there. Sometimes Aaron would be around, and we'd talk briefly. He was charming, witty, and had a kind-hearted demeanor. As time went on, we ran into each other more frequently, especially during my daily walks at the nearby park. Though we exchanged only a few casual words, his image began to linger in my mind, unsettling me. As days passed, I found myself looking forward to seeing him. On days we didn't cross paths, I felt restless and uneasy. Whenever he was around, my heart would race, and a warm blush would creep onto my cheeks. Our conversations grew longer, and we started spending time together on these walks. My father began to notice the change in me. I was no longer my usual lively, talkative self. One day, he asked if I'd like to go shopping with him, even giving me a bit of spending money. But I didn't go. When he asked why, I mentioned not having a car of my own. Without hesitation, he bought me one the next day, thrilled to see me happy. Excited by my newfound freedom, I went to a cafe one afternoon, where I unexpectedly ran into Aaron. He admired my car and, to my surprise, confessed his feelings, saying he didn't care about my family's wealth. From that day on, meeting up became our routine, and eventually, he suggested spending a day at the beach together. We packed a few things and spent a beautiful day by the shore. After some time in the sun and waves, I sat back, listening to music, when Aaron pulled out a bottle he had brought along. Surprised, I gently objected, telling him he didn't need anything extra to enjoy the day with me. He smiled, promising to stop for my sake. Not long after, Aaron proposed to me, and soon after, his parents came to my family to formally ask for my hand. My parents, however, were not impressed by Aaron's family's financial situation, feeling that they weren't a suitable match. During the visit, my parents declined, saying they wanted me to marry someone from a more affluent background. Aaron was devastated and, over the phone, pleaded with me, saying he couldn't imagine life without me. Feeling torn and emotionally overwhelmed, I threatened my parents that I would hurt myself if they refused. Reluctantly, my father agreed, calling Aaron's parents and giving his consent for the marriage. Our wedding was a quiet affair, as my father didn't want to involve extended family or friends, deeply disheartened by Aaron's family's lack of wealth. However, life after marriage was not as I had imagined. Just days into our new life, Aaron started asking me to request money from my father, claiming we needed it to start fresh. Hesitantly, I asked my father for a large sum, hiding the true reason. Out of love, my father complied, wanting to make me happy. But soon, I discovered that Aaron had no intention of using it for us. Instead, he used the money to send his younger brother to college abroad, and afterward, he continued to pressure me for more. When I finally refused, he devised another scheme. Aaron suggested a trip to visit his grandparents in his hometown. Once there, he left me at his family's house and called my father, claiming I had been kidnapped and demanding a ransom for my safe return. My father, wise and perceptive, sensed something was wrong. Calmly, he told Aaron that he would involve the police if necessary. Fearing exposure, Aaron quickly took the money and left. Devastated and heartbroken, I returned to my parents' home, shattered by the betrayal. My father wanted to press charges, but I pleaded with him to let it go. I felt that nothing could undo the damage. My love and dreams had already been broken, and no legal action could repair what I had lost. Over time, Aaron and his family moved away. His parents, embarrassed by their son's actions, were deeply saddened. Although my father felt a strong urge to seek justice, I convinced him to let the matter rest. Now, all that remains are the painful memories and the lessons I've learned. I often reflect on what might have been if I hadn't been granted so much freedom. My once bright dreams of love and happiness now lie in silent ruins, leaving me with only quiet tears and memories of a love that turned into heartbreak.